coffee and tea trends in every state.
You know, Toast, the POS system, they put out an interesting trend. What do you think the average guest across the U.S. paid for a cup of coffee?
$5.
$3.08. How about cold brew? I'm not a coffee expert, but it's coffee cold.
It's what we just said, but with ice.
How much do you think that is?
$4.
$5.14.
Well, we know where the scam is.
Tea is more popular than regular coffee in 30 states. In Chicago, servers and bartenders at full-service restaurant earned a median hourly wage of $9.48, which is up from $9 in Q1 of 2022. Delaware was the most generous state overall for tipping. Average total tipping percentage of 22%. Average price of a latte in Hawaii was the most expensive, $6.69. Hawaii, everything's just a price gouge.
I'm just shocked that 30 out of the 50 like tea better.
Yeah.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
We are live. I'm hot.
You're hot. Do you know what? Have you been following the hottest meme in the world?
The hawk Tuah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is what's interesting. In a day and age where for that girl, this is life-changing.
So if you have not heard it, because there's people probably listen who have not heard it.
Do that first.
There was a guy, a TikTok interview guy,
Yep.
that was interviewing two girls. I don't know where it was, Nashville?
It looked like Nashville, let's say.
Like, yeah,
like
somewhere
a
in the
college
South.
town.
Like an, outside the club type situation.
Right.
And it was something about like
How to keep a guy or something.
how to keep a
How
guy
do
or
you keep
something
a-
like that.
Yeah.
And she has like a deep Southern accent.
Yep.
And she said something like, you got to spit on that thing and hack to it.
Mhm. And it went viral. And there's
Hats.
songs. But here's the thing I was going to say is in the day and age where that is every kid's dream, every kid, more than any career.
Yeah.
It's probably to go viral. That young lady could have a podcast. She could have everything. As per my last checking yesterday, nobody knows who she is.
No, she went ghost.
And there was a girl that they all pointed to, and it wasn't the girl. So this young lady, this Hak Tuah, has the dream waiting for her.
I think the knee jerk is fear. My life's over.
Right. She probably has like religious parents.
Religious parents.
Christian parent.
Probably has a boyfriend.
Yep.
Like life crumbled in like 48 hours.
Right.
Maybe lost her job.
Because she was probably drunk.
Yes.
Just walking out of a club. How do you keep a guy? Hak Tuah, funny little moment. Imagine in like, because that wasn't like LA or New York, let's say, I would be willing to bet. And in the moment, that felt so
Innocent.
Yeah, like just she was being funny outside of a random bar. And now she is globally known.
Yeah. Like there was a meme all guys care about. It's a picture of her face,
Yeah.
a cyber truck, stock market going up,
Yep.
and some weights.
Yep. It's so good. And she's mystery. She's
Look, what she needs in her life is actually a Kris Jenner.
yes.
Because when Kim Kardashian's sex tape came out, you thought that was the end of her life. But in
Right.
reality, it was the beginning.
Right. And I'm telling you, this girl could have a hit, whatever, sex advice podcast tomorrow. She could go do a deal. She could make her rounds on every mega podcast, Barstool, everybody tomorrow.
Who would be a good sponsor? I was thinking brand sponsors. Zen.
Zen for sure. Trojan. Alcohol, spritzers.
Yeah.
Get drunk in Hak Tuah. The new Hak Tuah blend.
Even In-N-Out posted, I don't know if it's like a meme In-N-Out account. It
Yeah.
must be because they're a pretty religious company.
Yeah.
But if he buys you In-N-Out, then Hak Tuah.
Hak Tuah. People are making, there will be, probably low millions of
money's available.
GDP
Yeah.
around this IP,
Easily.
and she's nowhere to be found. Pretty wild.
I wonder if she can get some advice from a Hollywood elite on that this is actually an opportunity, not unless she just wants it to disappear and it just in a week we forget about her.
Right.
She dyes her hair.
It reminds me of when The Weeknd first came out. When The Weeknd first came out, it was like, wow, this is some crazy music.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it.
It was
some
mysterious.
It's some kid in Toronto. You never saw his face. Supposedly Drake found it. She's The Weeknd of
Of America.
yeah, of viral videos. Well, that's what we have to offer. That's our best and brightest.
I mean, think about it. What's more famous American than Hawk Tuah right now?
Yeah, BJs and blondes. It's amazing because it is everywhere, and she is, and the internet. I feel like the internet they've solved like murders. Like these things will go viral.
Well,
like
they can't solve the
Brian Laundrie or
no
whatever
one
his
has
name
come
was.
out. What if she's CIA
Might be CIA. Might be deep state.
to just calm everyone down away from the war?
Maybe there was some Biden news, and they're like, "Yo, get out there
a
and
good
hawk
old
to
blowjob joke
Yeah.
will keep America going for at least a week and a half.
They will look the other way at a little blonde girl talking about a blowjob joke. We got him for a week. Let's let this blow over."
I mean, it's not a bad CIA move.
No.
I mean, you see what's happening in Ukraine. It's a disaster.
What's happening? Is there new stuff?
I don't know. I don't know if it's my X algorithm, but I saw this Russian soldier looking like he was pleading
Ugh.
to a drone, and the drone came and blew him up.
I don't allow my algorithm. Like if I see anything even like that, people send me stuff.
All I'm getting is horrific Ukraine-Russia war videos.
Yeah.
Bad. It is bad.
It's just so crazy because it was never that's the new normal.
Yeah.
Like there was never, in Iraq, which was the last big war for us. There wasn't that.
Yeah.
Now it's live play by play.
Yeah, the video content is too much for the average person to.
Yeah, because I also think that when you think war, like you think bombs and shooting, but you don't think like it's too detailed. It's like, a guy pleading to a drone and then exploding into like you don't think about that.
No, it's very scary.
Yeah, I don't. That's one thing I do not do is any of that type of content.
You're an anti-war guy.
No, I'm just anti. My friends get videos of like people getting hit by cars.
Oh yeah, I don't want any of that.
I watch fights. I watch street fights.
I mean, I can't even watch movies like that.
I don't either.
It's depressing.
But now your whole ex is the real thing.
Yeah,
Ugh.
scary. Did you listen to All In Trump?
Yeah.
I did.
And I listened to Impulsive Trump.
What's impulsive?
Logan Paul.
Oh, okay.
The guys, it's done. The deal is sealed. The whole tone is different.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that he...
It's really interesting. Obviously, people who like Trump thought the interview went really well.
Mm-hmm.
People who don't like Trump said he was incoherent. He was not sensible. People don't realize that's how Trump has always talked. He just repeats himself.
Right.
The great guys, great guys. He's a great man, great guy. He just keeps saying it over and over again.
That's also how every president has ever talked.
Yeah.
Like, meaning they don't directly answer any questions.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Look, the tone is different. I really feel like Trump decided that on this go around, he was going to be much less like divisive.
And more likable.
Yeah. And I don't think he's saying that he's doing that, but he's not doing the like extra shit he used. I mean, this guy was like roasting Rosie O'Donnell. Like,
Yeah.
you don't got to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He knows he's there.
Yeah.
He's at the finish line.
Yeah, there's a confidence. I think last time he didn't even think he was going to win.
Yes.
And it was
just like, fuck it, let's make it entertaining.
yeah, it's all marketing. Let me just be wild.
Well, given that he's like a felon and he has to win.
Yeah, true. I just think, I mean, when you see, look, to me, watching the All In guys, so David Sachs is already a
Conservative.
Yep. And to be honest, 6 months ago, they would roast him for being a Trump voter. And he was a little standoffish. Like he was kind of like, I'm not saying for sure.
Yeah.
That's my guy, but whatever. Chamath would have never claimed Trump a year ago.
No chance.
Now the guy cannot stop smiling.
Yeah, he loves him.
From ear to ear. And then even like J. Cal and who was so anti, you could see like the little glimmer in his eye.
Star power also.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he's really charming.
Yeah.
He's really good.
He did a really good job. I know people, you could criticize it. Here's what I would say. If you were comparing Donald Trump to any other candidate besides Biden,
Yeah.
I would say you probably have a lot of good arguments on why he doesn't connect with people.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's going against Biden. The first debate is Thursday.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is not going on a podcast. No fucking way.
No chance.
They'll never let him speak in public ever.
But doing a debate, I cannot wait. What day is it?
Thursday.
I just can't believe. I feel like something's going to come up.
Yeah.
He
The
can't
switch
make
is
it.
happening.
Yeah. A switch, or he can't make it, or whatever. It's just, why would you think that's going to go well?
Yeah, there's no way. And the other thing about the podcast with Trump, presidents and politicians in general, like, don't answer directly to any question. The few questions he did answer directly, they weren't shitty answers. Like, the one that went viral is the immigration one.
Yeah.
Where he said every
college graduate.
And then I think it kind of got broadened on, like, it's not every college graduate, it's certain types of college graduates. But the point is that can anyone in America say that's a bad idea?
No.
Especially when the next frontier of war is digital, right?
Yeah.
It's not physical.
Yeah.
Right? I'm watching Russian soldiers pray to a drone before they get blown up.
Right.
So why not have the best and brightest from every country and have immigration that works? And I think...
But we've always done that. This is a wild comparison, but like after World War II, we took all of the Nazi scientists.
Yeah.
And they built NASA. Like we've always put...
the best.
Yeah, like being the best. America is where the best come.
Yeah.
And I just feel like,
here's the problem is that in America right now, you can't define who is best because it pisses off a group of people.
Yeah, because right now the best is like the most virtuous.
Yeah.
Or the best is the most oppressed.
So I have an interesting data point.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a conference this week.
Okay.
Can't say which one because they literally said, can't talk about it.
Right.
But two of the guests actually talked about it. So you could figure out what conferences is from them.
Mm-hmm.
Two big takeaways I got from the conference, or three actually. One, when we talk about is everyone in on AI, it's on another level. People are in on AI.
What do you mean by in? Like everyone's trying to figure it out for themselves?
Like this conference had 2.5 days of content.
Yeah.
People talking.
Yeah.
Every single topic was AI or AI robotics, right?
The long NVIDIA.
Oh yeah, very long.
Right. we predicted Q1. It might be.
Well, look, I think the stock could still falter.
Right.
Like, I think that could still happen. But long-term horizon, just thinking about the impact of AI, like, it continues to be incredible. Second was, if you're Indian and you ever claim any sort of discrimination, you're a fucking liar.
Yeah. Okay.
This conference I was at.
Yeah.
And I grew up around Indian people.
Yep.
I've never seen so many Indian people in my life.
You've been to India.
It is not an Indian company in sight.
You've been to India multiple times.
Yes. I go to the pool and the kids were there, like my kids, other people's kids.
Yep.
100% Indian kids.
Yep.
You go to the conference, everyone's Indian. Everybody. I'm talking, except for like the handful of investors,
Right.
all the founders
Right.
of some of the most coveted companies on earth, so many were Indian and so many were even foreign. Forget that they were even local. They're Indians and they're foreign. They're German, they're Danish, they're this, they're
Right,
that. They're
right.
just from all over the world.
Right.
And I was just blown away that like, it really is an incredible country
Yeah.
where if you are willing to shut up and dribble,
Right.
you can really make it.
But are Indians like just smarter than? Like, why is that? Is that cultural?
So if I would look at it objectively, we have another Indian here, so I'll let him nod his head or disagree.
Yeah, we're 2-on-2 right now.
Yeah. I would say that the things that I recognize are
He has one now.
Indian people, one, culturally are very passive.
Yeah.
And because of, I think Hinduism has a lot to do with their like general aggression is they just don't have it.
Right. But then how do you get all these CEOs?
So I think that is actually the trick to be successful in corporate America.
Huh.
In corporate America,
Right.
if you are hardworking,
I see what you're saying.
smart, and likable,
So it's a good way to make your way up like diligent work and being passive.
Yes.
Can climb you up the hierarchy.
you can climb up. The one piece that I never saw growing up that Indian people and that I saw lacked.
Yeah.
Now this generation of Indian people have, which is they're incredible communicators also.
Right.
They're like inspiring in the way they speak. So like that was the one thing that I thought was missing. But
Right.
I think the personality, the like you'll never hear, forget this generation of younger Indian people, previous generation Indian people, they never went to HR.
Right. Right.
Never.
Right.
Like I know my dad was discriminated.
Right.
And he got to the top pretty damn high at his company. He never fucking went to HR.
Right.
He would never. He was a company man through and through. And I think they're being rewarded for that now in venture and being a founder. I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I think Indian culture it's built on two things: education and you listen to your parents.
Yeah.
And so if you're willing to work hard and then just listen to the people at the top, you'll go very far.
I know, but what's
Right.
crazy is that's counterintuitive to what is being taught to a lot of young people these days,
Right.
which is the man is holding you back.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's kind of both. It's like school is pointless, and like look what's happening at all the Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
They're not going to class and they're protesting
Yeah.
the rules.
Yeah, and I don't know if this I don't know the current generation of 21-year-olds at these schools if they have the same belief that their parents had.
Yeah.
But just walking around this conference, I literally looked at my wife and I was dying laughing. I'm like, they might as well just serve samosas and fucking mango lassi and
Butter
call it a
chicken,
day.
yeah.
It was
really
just fascinating.
Yeah.
Pardon?
It's just fascinating. Like I'm always so curious why things end up that way. And we just talked about it, and you're probably
so
mostly
simple.
right. But like for it to be that severe
Yeah.
is pretty wild.
And what's really interesting is
Like, why not Asian?
they don't assimilate. Like if you I grew up around Korean people. Korean people in LA did not assimilate
Right.
with other Americans. Within Asian culture, Korean, Japanese, and Chinese don't get along.
Right.
And so they have their own hierarchy internally. Like go ask someone, hey, rank Korean, Japanese, and Chinese people. They have a ranking.
Yeah.
It ain't equal.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. It ain't
Yeah.
equal. So I think you start thinking about like that dynamic of, and then I think the cherry on the top, which comes from outside of being in India, which is actually being in America, is the communication skills of these Indian CEOs. I've got to see like the top 5 speak now up front and close in an intimate setting. They're unbelievable communicators.
Right.
And it's never aggressive.
Right.
It's a soft tone. It
Yeah.
instills an enormous amount of confidence. And I don't know. It's very reassuring when you hear them speak. You're like, yeah, you know what? Sounds like you got the shit
checks
under
out.
control.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot of it has to do with cultural. And I think they found success with that. So they're double downing.
Right. I'll tell you what, it sounds like there's no worse culture for success than like current, what a lot of people would call American culture.
Yeah.
Like this entitlement, like that. There's a reason why that speech from Jensen went viral talking about entitlement.
Yeah. Why I would never invest in any of you guys or something he said.
Right. and expectations and whatever. And it went viral because so many people were like, yes, this is a problem. But like, it just feels like, man, by not like, no one's checking that culture.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of celebrated. Like from what I see, it seems as though the students at a lot of these Ivy League schools have more sway than, like, there's no adults.
Yeah.
The adults kind of,
the adults agree with them. I heard a lot of the protesters.
but I think they're kind of scared of them, don't you? Like, meaning like it's in this current moment, it's not good to tell kids to shut up and go back to class
Yeah, that's fair.
because you're going to get canceled.
I think you can't tell anyone that.
Like, it feels like the same way like police are scared to do their jobs. It feels like people are scared to tell young people no.
Yeah.
At the moment. That is the culture.
Yeah. I mean, Roshan, you're an investor.
Yep.
Are you allowed to say where you work?
Yeah. I help run the VC fund for the Chicago Cubs.
Okay. So you meet with a lot of founders.
Yes.
Is the whole portfolio Indian or do you have some whites in there too?
We got a strong diversity spectrum.
The politically correct.
Give us a nod.
Indian men, Indian women, short Indians, tall Indians,
lighter skinned Indians.
We have dark Indians.
Trying to think. We have one out of 11 companies have Indian founders.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you guys are in the Midwest, so
Yeah.
Right.
good.
Right.
But
But all different industries too, or?
Yes. Yeah. All different industries.
Because it feels a little tech heavy, this Indian
Oh
phenomenon.
yeah,
Right?
100%. I don't
see like in fashion, like, wow.
Yeah, look, are there Indians in fashion? Yes. I know of them.
Yes.
And they've done well and they're great, but
Yeah.
like they're not the forefront.
Like
Whereas,
Paris Fashion Week wasn't.
No.
No one walked around and said, well, my God, it's all Indian.
Do you see how they know?
But tech conference, yes.
Yeah, and like the tech conference,
Yeah.
it's like who's who, and you don't realize when you're walking around. Like I had one-on-ones with a lot of founders, and I could not believe. I think I had 10 one-on-ones, 8 were Indian.
Really?
8.
Is your one Indian company tech?
Yeah. AI.
There's AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
Actual Indians.
That's a studying. You put a lot of it on the culture of studying,
Yes.
right?
Well, I think I put a lot on the culture of do as you're told, be educated,
Right.
be disciplined.
Learn the rules, perform
Discipline,
well.
follow the rules.
Yeah.
Like it's funny. My oldest son is such a rule follower. And I'm like, is that genetic?
Yeah. What happened to you?
I was a rule follower till I was like,
You're like a white kid.
yeah,
You don't read.
no,
You say fuck the rules.
yeah. I got kicked out of the first round of the spelling bee.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Your name should be.
I felt like I had white privilege at like 13, which
Yeah.
I definitely did not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I felt it.
You act like it. Yeah.
Now I definitely act like it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm just so fascinated anytime that happens. Like, because I don't believe in, I don't know if it's been, I don't think it's ever been proven. I know there was a very controversial book about it, but like IQ or like, certain races are
Yeah.
just are just smarter. It's culture.
yeah.
And I
actually do not believe it's race at all. I think it's everything to do, especially after like listening to Tom Brady and Federer the last couple of weeks.
right.
And they kind of owed their entire life to discipline and hard work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? The reason why the greats are the greats are for that exact reason.
Yeah.
And specifically in education, We have a lot of Roger Federers.
Yeah, you do. Maybe it's also good that you don't have a lot of athletes because it takes it off the table early.
I know. What's interesting is I always used to joke about that, but then there's an account on Instagram called Brown Ballers.
Yeah.
And then there's like these high school kids
Really?
who are now like, there's a high school baseball player at USC, first round draft pick for the Toronto Blue Jays, was Indian, bombing home runs. I'm like, man, this is going to send our
Yeah, they
people
need to
back.
delete that. You guys got to delete the Indian Mafia.
We gotta
has to-
like, you know, if the Indian community had a CIA,
Yeah.
they got to make these athletes just quickly
Disappear.
pivot to,
Yep.
like, if I was the CEO of Google and I was trying to control Indians, I'd go to that Toronto Blue Jays kid.
Yeah.
Be like, here's $5 million. Never touch a baseball again.
Never.
Never.
And let's find out who owns that page. Get it down. I do think, don't you think that there's something to like people always say like, you know, seeing yourself in athletes and represented in these different places. And like, when it comes to the culture of like hard studying and
You could see yourself.
you can see yourself there, but you don't see yourself on the basketball court. And maybe it stops that dream
Yeah.
and you see the study dream and you're like, okay, well,
That's more realistic.
that's where I'm
It's-
at.
It's attainable.
That's what my people do.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you own the fucking tech conference.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
It was very interesting. I will tell you a very amazing moment in this conference. So founders from like the who's who of tech companies, big and small, is outside on the second night, I think. They're having dinner, beautiful night, no cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
I'll share 3 of the guest names because they shared it on their podcast. Bill Gurley,
Yeah.
Brad Gerstner, Larry Summers.
Yeah.
Talking about the future of education, all these things. Really interesting. Future of AI, all these things. They, in the middle of their talk, the SpaceX rocket goes off.
Do they time it?
No, it was just like, everyone's like, someone screamed from the audience, like, you guys all need to look up. We all look up, and it is the most magical thing you've ever seen, right? And especially when there's no clouds. It was goosebumps. I had goosebumps because of who the room was in there. Because these people are like building rockets and like doing crazy shit.
Right.
And you see what's possible because of technology. It was a pretty magical moment, especially because like you look up to all these people in the room. They're always talking about what's even like I'm sitting there watching a lot of these topics being covered, like AI robots.
Yeah.
And
you're like, come on. Really? And then all of a sudden a rocket.
I mean, from what I saw, I believe it.
Yeah.
It's scary.
When you hear Elon talk about the robots,
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yes. Like there's a Spider-Man robot. I didn't even know about the Spider-Man robot.
Like he said the other day that because of his forecast of how many robots and the affordability and blah, 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 that Tesla should be able to do 1 trillion in revenue a year on robot sales. And he like broke down the
math makes sense.
Right.
You're like, okay, everyone, if the same people have a Tesla car buy their robot, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That was the underestimation of Apple. You're like, if just the MacBook people buy iPhones, you have this massive phone company.
Right.
But what an amazing, I think being around, it's exciting to be around technology people because they're doing shit that like, you could never imagine.
Yeah.
But it also is like very intimidating because I go back to my regular experience in life.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm just trying to like sell shit, put people together.
Right.
But it is exciting to see what's happening in technology.
Yeah. Okay.
Wild.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And what a great moment of, I mean, anytime though, because those rockets go over here all the time.
Yeah. So the conferences was up north. So it was closer to where it's in Vandenberg is where they take off.
Where's that at?
That's like kind of near like Lompoc, north of like Goleta. It's like
You're saying all places I've never even, like give me anything.
North of Santa Barbara.
Right. Okay.
And I've taken my kids and driven up close by
To see
to
one?
see a rocket launch. But if you get a cloudy day,
Yeah.
you don't see anything. And if you get it during the day, it's even harder. We got it at night.
Right.
It was so epic.
It's so big and
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Some news?
Yeah.
What's up with schools? Why are they saying schools are going to start closing again? Is there another pandemic coming around?
No. So the article in the Wall Street Journal was basically stating that what's happened over the last couple days, the last couple years, I mean, schools closed. A lot of kids did not come back to public schools.
Like they're homeschooling?
Homeschooling, maybe they went to different towns. And then you couple that with, you start doing projections out on population of young people that would go to school.
Right.
You start doing the math, and you're going to have to start closing a lot of schools.
That's
Public
like
schools.
really bad, I think.
It's horrible.
Right.
There's a school.
And for the Indians, this is like them, shutting down all the, when I was young, they used to close skate parks.
Yeah. I
This
mean,
is-
closing down schools for Indians is devastating.
This is the worst news.
Yeah.
They've got- yeah.
I also think what's happening is the really good schools, whether it be public or private, are getting all the students.
Right.
And so,
But
like,
what
if
about
you
just regular, you can't afford?
no, but even in LA, there's something called charter schools.
Uh-huh.
So a charter school, like if you live in the neighborhood,
Uh-huh.
most cases you get to go. In some cases, everyone is a lottery.
Got it.
And then there's wait lists. There's schools that like are in our neighborhood. There's like 700 kids on the fucking waiting list
Really?
for a public school. You cannot get in.
It's just a nicer public school?
Yeah, it's like the best in the neighborhood. So everyone wants to go there. And so what happens then is the second or third tier public school in your neighborhood,
Right.
no
Right.
one wants to go to.
Right.
And then you
But
start.
don't you have, what happens? I get the population part, but what happens to the 700 kids who don't, or the 600?
There's a school in Beverly Hills that's closing.
Really?
Yes.
Damn. This whole population thing is another thing that all the smart guys talk about
Yeah.
that's pretty nuts.
Yeah. I mean, think about the secondary impact. Okay. If there's going to be lesser children in the coming years, so that affects preschool,
Right.
then kindergarten, elementary, then junior and high school, and then the last is college. Because what happens with college now, it's a similar thing. Is there a point to go to an overpriced liberal arts private school
Right.
when you could potentially go to a state school?
Right.
Like, I do think the state schools are going to get a bump
Yeah.
because you start doing the math. Do these companies care where you went to college? Probably not.
Yeah.
Go to Cal State LA or go to UC whatever
Yeah.
and save yourself a shitload of money, especially if you're in the state. State schools are so cheap.
Right. Right.
Not cheap, but more affordable.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty wild. It's not something that I expected. I just would assume the news would be more and more, not enough schools for all the
Yeah.
kids, and to see schools closing up like fucking mom and pop restaurants is pretty crazy.
Yeah, especially when in LA schools closing, it's kind of fucking wild.
Yeah, that is wild. I want to jump to this first because this is kind of similar when it comes to I don't know. I want to be a little careful not to be doom and gloom, but just not great news.
Yep.
So there's a few. One of the things what you just said about colleges, here's the type of news that's already happening is college graduates are struggling to find jobs and it could set them back for a long time. So you do go to whatever school, a lot of people take on debt. You go out and hit the job market and there's nothing for you. And now you're working a job that you could have had easily without a college degree. You also, that's a derailer, I would imagine. I would imagine that also kind of breaks your spirit. I mean, college easy. You kind of think you're doing it for a reward, not to, work at Starbucks.
Yep.
And then you got to try to maintain your preferred career path while you're doing that. So just kind of in that conversation.
So the recent graduate unemployment rate was 5% compared to the overall unemployment rate of 3.7%. And between 1990 and 2013, that had never happened. For all those years.
Damn.
And obviously because of COVID, things like that, there was instances where that has happened.
What you're saying is since 1990, the college unemployment rate has never been higher than the general unemployment rate.
Yes.
Right.
And now it's substantially higher. And you're also seeing these large companies, they're not recruiting on the campuses anymore. So one example was Meta, among the top employers for Rice University graduates in 2022, didn't hire any graduates last year.
Huh.
And those are high paying jobs.
Right.
There's also a chart showing particularly software jobs are like impossible to get right now.
Right.
Really, the engineering jobs are really, really hard to get at this point. And so I think that's another challenge that like a lot of college graduates in engineering assumed, oh, I'm an engineer, I should get a job easily.
Right.
But I think that really comes down to like compensation expectation, where engineering graduates have like a very high expectation.
Right, but we're back to expectation. You know who doesn't? The Indian kids.
They'll take
like whatever you got. I'm willing to learn. The fuck? You know what I mean? If that's the case, if that's a huge issue that people are turning down jobs.
Yeah. The other thing that I don't think a lot of people realize that's happening, because even in the software jobs in America have gone down, big tech has clearly said, like Google fired a ton of engineers.
Yeah.
And they said, we will replace all of these engineers in India.
Right.
So that cost difference is 30 to 50% cheaper in India, which is a very high salary in India.
Yeah.
And in many cases, depending on how they're compensated, they're given no stock. So there's no stock-based compensation that a big tech company then has to deal with.
Right.
Health insurance in these countries are very different. So the total comp is extremely competitive and high in places like India or the Philippines.
Yeah.
Those employees are extremely happy, and it makes no sense to continue to hire people in America.
That's what I'm saying. Think about how dangerous it is that like at the same time that expectations are at an all-time high, the ability to hire people in India or the, AI is making a lot of progress. Like that's a bad combination.
Yeah. What's interesting is if you look at the doomsday of that theme, you would say, okay, everyone's going to lose their jobs, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at every technology innovation ever, it has actually created more jobs, like the car, the wheel, the train. All of these things were considered television, were the end of something, and it actually created a new wave of things.
Yeah, I don't think that you're wrong. Like I think you're totally right, and I do not have any sort of doomsday thought about like AI taking all the jobs. But I do think that countries and cultures go through rough times where your expectations have to get reset.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I think there could be like this story. Okay, so we're hearing stories. So what's happening is we can assume people are going to college, they're taking on debt or not or whatever, but they're going to college. Then they're not finding a job at a higher rate than the general number. So there's a lot of pain there, even if that's like ego pain or whatever it is. Like, and now we're hearing these stories about people living with their parents for longer. We're hearing all these stories. So it just seems like there's this thing happening where people are getting rude awakenings left and right.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that expectation has to reset.
Yeah.
I
think I think with an economic downturn, everything resets.
Right.
And the best example of that is what we are about to talk about, which is it's the summer of the finance bro.
Yeah, what's that mean? Like finance bros are the hot commodity?
So there was another viral TikTok thing where this woman was
they're just getting hocked to it. If you combine both viral videos, that means finance bros are getting hocked to it left and right.
Left and right, yes. So this woman comes out and says, I got trust fund guy, 6'5",
I'm
blue
looking for
eyes.
a guy in finance, 6'5",
yeah,
blue eyes.
And what's really interesting about that is it means that people are going back to their old habits, which is go to the person with money.
Your times are tough.
Times are tough.
Yeah.
There's no more free lunch. Inflation is out there.
Athletes aren't going to do it. That college athlete you really liked.
Yeah, no. Or like whatever, the cool artsy guy. Ain't gonna cut
Or
it.
the Harry Styles of your hometown is not paying the bills, not taking you to the Hamptons.
No. So, and now it's summer and you want to do fun shit.
Right.
You want to see Taylor Swift in London.
It's just funny because to me, when I was like, even in my 20s, like, I don't know any girl that was talking about finance guys.
You didn't hang out with those girls.
You think they were there?
Those girls now are with finance guys.
Yes. But those girls were talking about athletes and artists, actors.
That's because you lived in LA. If you lived in New York.
They were talking about finance?
Yeah, in New York, the hierarchy of guys is finance, different tiers of finance, and then everybody else.
That's funny. So they're getting like the models.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go to a New York nightclub. Go to I'm talking 10, 15 years ago. If you went to One Oak, Marquee,
It's
all
finance
these
bros.
places, it was finance guys. I was like, what does that guy do? Oh, he's a hedge fund. What does this guy do? He's at Goldman Sachs. And they had all the girls.
Okay, so here's my question. Now this trend is bigger than New York. So what is a girl in Boston? No.
Boston has finance.
Yeah, it does.
New York has finance.
What is a girl in Minneapolis? Columbus, Ohio.
You're driving to Chicago and you're finding a finance guy.
Is that what you're doing? Or
there's finance guys in Chicago.
Or are you finding like a fake finance
What,
guy?
a teller?
I don't know, like a guy with a hot Robin Hood. What do you do when the trend is bigger than the market?
The market is very big.
Only in 3 cities.
Okay, you move.
Damn. LA, not a finance guy in sight.
I'll tell you where there's finance people if I were to think objectively. LA is small, but there is a community.
Is there anyone, like if you go to Bird Streets, is there who's in finance? Or would people with would
a fund manager.
I don't think he'll mind. Does Zach count? Is Zach a finance?
Yeah.
Right.
I think he would be considered a finance guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So if a girl is dating him, she's dating a finance.
Yeah.
That's an LA.
Yeah, LA finance guy.
Yeah.
In New York, it would be an investment banker, someone at a hedge fund.
Right.
Private equity.
They must be seeing because I also feel like with the popularity of like Alex Cooper and like the Barstool Girl, they must be living good. The finance guys.
They're booming.
We should ask Zach.
And because I also think it's the cities that have some finance presence are like LA, San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago, Charlotte, Atlanta, now Miami.
Even Charlotte, huh?
Charlotte has a lot of banks.
Oh. I just wonder if, like, in Charlotte, like, can you just work at a bank? Like, not bank, not be like
you work at Wells Fargo.
Yeah, and they're like, I found my finance, bro. I wonder because I don't think girls are that savvy. I mean, New York models are, but like, I don't think a girl in Charlotte is savvy enough to know what qualifies.
But if you just have the look, like you got the vest,
right? But you got to have the
money,
the account.
But in Charlotte, like if you make
right.
LA finance money, but in Charlotte, you probably ball out.
So there's probably guys, I would guess, in a city like Charlotte that are doing better than ever with the women.
Oh, yeah. Hawk Tuah
left and right.
I mean, the funny thing about this is like these newspapers do these stories. Like all of these things are very, very obvious.
Right.
Because it's a recession.
Right.
I know the government doesn't want to call it a recession, but it is.
Yeah, they just
People are struggling.
They just changed the definition.
They changed the definition. Like, did you know, like, housing used to be in the CPI? They pulled it out. This was in the CPI. They pulled it
They're
out.
shady, bro.
They changed the narrative to what they need it to be. And I think now what you're seeing is no different than any other time. I remember in 2008, vividly at nightclubs with Brian.
Yeah.
We had tables because we got them for free. We didn't have any money either.
Right.
But people would be like, yeah, it's a recession. I'll take a free drink.
Yeah.
Girls, guys, everyone.
Plus the lifestyle. I mean, yeah. I just feel like lifestyle is every year getting more and more
Important.
Mhm.
And I think we've talked about this. We've seen Twitter accounts or TikTok accounts where women have posted, I would never dated a bro, but I went out to dinner. He
Right.
opened the door. He paid for my meal. He paid for our drinks,
Right.
which we all thought that was normal.
Yeah.
But people have changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the other big thing that I've noticed that kind of throws me off all the time?
What?
So I meet a lot of people, younger-ish, call it 35 and under.
Okay.
Anyone in their 20s, if they're dating someone, they call them, or even early 30s, they call them their partner.
You've heard that a lot.
A lot.
Are people just like out here just polyamoring?
So I don't know what that means, because when they say partner, I was like, oh, you have a business.
Right.
I was in a full-on conversation the other day. They kept saying my partner. I was like, oh, so what do you guys do?
Right.
And
Tuah.
and yeah, exactly. And he kept saying partner. I was like, oh, partner in what?
Right.
I think it was, oh, that's who I live with. I'm like, oh, your wife?
Was it his wife?
Wife.
I
think that's a gender thing where like women do not want to be referred to as a wife.
Or is it an open relationship thing?
No, there's no way all these people have an open relationship.
That's how I always took it. If someone says partner to me, I'm like, oh, you guys are
Oh,
like,
it's on and popping.
yeah. Like, yeah, we're a partner in life, but like we don't like labels because
We like to fuck everyone.
Tuah.
Oh, I mean,
That's how I always took it, but maybe I'm old.
you know what?
But
Fuck it. Maybe I'm wrong. All these people out here fucking.
That might be the new, I don't know, man.
That's the hack. You say partner, you can fuck anyone.
I think so.
No, I think it's a gender definition thing.
Kathy's, can you guys let us know?
I've gotten thrown off by so many conversations where
Like it's
people
been
say
that
partner.
many. It's been so many that you.
Literally, I don't know. And now I just assume that means their significant other. The problem is I don't know if it's a male or female. And like, not that I care, but like if I want to say, oh, does your partner like the Knicks?
Yeah.
More than likely, that has to be a guy to like the Knicks.
Someone please make it make sense to me because I don't get it. And to me, it feels really
Partnery.
I don't like it. I'm judging. I don't know if it means that you're in an open relationship. I get that, I guess. But like if it's just partner is like some new word that's like supposed to be above, you know, like it's more woke or more, you know, more enlightened.
It is that. I'm 100%.
That's the wackest.
Has partner hit Chicago?
You can't hear him responding, but yes, he is. But I was going to ask because technically, like in Chicago, you would be a finance. I was just curious how your dating life was if you were dating, but you wouldn't know.
Again,
Right.
partners.
Right.
I have a lot of limited partners.
He's got a lot of LP.
I have a whole roster of LPs.
That's what
the
I think it
finance
is.
bros are just going out here saying, I got a lot of LPs in my fund.
I think it is.
Fun, not
think it
fund.
Maybe that's a finance bro. Maybe they started it.
The whole thing
They
was
call
like,
everyone
this,
partners. Yeah.
this is a partner. You're allowed to have a lot of partners.
Yeah. Limited partners. Yeah.
You can only have one wife or husband, but you can have many partners.
Right. I feel like that's what it is.
That's where it started from.
I think that it's we don't like the old labels and monogamy and that shit. We're above that. I think that's what it is. If it's just a new word, then fuck off. Every one of you.
I think for the people now, it's a new word.
That's okay.
I interview a lot of young people every day. They always tell me about partners, and I am confused. I'm like, what, you have a business and you're applying for a job here? What is going on?
I don't know.
I was like, how can you run a business and work for us?
Right. I don't know. Well, here's the thing. If you have just graduated and your dream is to move to New York, you better hope you can find a partner that is a finance bro, because apparently New York is currently the worst city to start a career. So we just talked about how tough it was after college to find a job that you were, a job. But apparently New York seems to be the worst.
Guess what the best city was?
I can't. LA? I can't.
Atlanta. Because of
Is it
professional
emerging?
opportunities and quality of life, housing, all of those things.
Is there like is it growing?
There's a lot of big companies there.
Is it growing maybe?
Atlanta is growing like crazy.
Right.
I would, generally speaking, high quality of life.
Not too expensive.
I would say it's mildly expensive. It's definitely not cheap anymore, but it's fun. It's like a fun, younger metropolis that is not as expensive as.
But doesn't Atlanta suck? Every time I've been to Atlanta, I've been bored out of my mind.
I don't think Atlanta is as bad as.
I mean, it's been a while.
I was surprised Nashville is not in top. Nashville feels like the place to be.
Why is New York so bad? It's just tough.
It's too expensive. Professional opportunities and quality of life is what they rated on. So the problem with New York is that the opportunities are endless.
Right.
The salary you have to make to live in the city is extremely high. So then your quality of life sucks because of it.
You know what blows me away is so we have a lot of these listen things and there's a lot of articles like this and it's valid, it's real. But when you go walk around New York, it feels younger and more crowded than ever.
Yeah.
It's like everyone somehow.
Because nobody cares. It's better, in my opinion, if I was optimizing if I was 24 years old,
right,
I'd probably, if I graduated college today, I would just suck it up and live in New York.
I mean, wouldn't you rather live on an air mattress with 3 roommates in New York than a fucking 2-bedroom in Atlanta? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the opportunity, New York, the opportunities are way more and bigger. And Atlanta.
The only thing about New York that's very apparent, it's very hard in New York if you're not in a traditional career path to make real money. Like, in LA, you go out to dinner, the entrepreneur that owns the restaurant or 4 sandwich shops has money.
But can't you get a fucking job like at Aloe Yoga corporate office? Fucking, you're an assistant to the.
In what city?
In New York.
They're based in LA.
Well, you know what I'm saying though. Whatever the equivalent is, Glossier.
Yeah.
Aren't those flying around? You're telling me everyone at Glossier is a fucking Harvard grad?
No.
I just feel like, once again,
they have a lot of Harvard people.
I'm sure they do. I could be so wrong here, but I just feel like if you're a social, smart person, like you could fall into a Glossier gig.
What I've noticed about New York City is the young people that live in New York City tend to be from those schools,
right? The
top schools, and probably come from some family money that gives you a backstop.
Yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure.
And
but I just don't. What I'm trying to say though is, don't you think the same way you can make it, you can hustle around in LA, you don't feel like you can do that in New York? It's like there's so many.
The thing about LA is that finance is it in New York.
Yeah.
Like you go to all the members clubs and all those places.
Right.
Finance is at the top of the heap.
Right.
When you go out in LA to like the it spot, it's a combination of the biggest drug dealer, biggest movie producer, an actor, a rapper, crypto bro, and the finance guy. It's everybody. It's very, very different. Where LA is, you don't know when you go to a nightclub what you're going to get, or a restaurant or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like I go to my kid's school and I'll talk to the parents and they do it's unpredictable what people will do.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm trying to, and I haven't spent enough time like socially in New York to have a stronger opinion, but I just feel like, look, my mentality is just that I would rather go to New York, try to make it happen, live shitty for a few years than be in Atlanta or Charlotte.
The problem is if you have a partner.
Right. Well, partner's got to work.
Partner? Like, if you have a
he or
partner
she is a partner.
in Atlanta and you guys have your fucking dog and you can go on your fucking hikes and walks.
Let me tell you my mentality with your dumbass partner label is if you're calling each other a partner, to me, the sort of enlightened definition there is this is someone I do life with. This is my life partner. So fucking contribute to the rent, partner.
Yeah, I don't think that the problem is about rent. I think it becomes like
Quality
New
of
York
life.
is fun when you're single or rich. If you're rich and are married,
right,
it's really fun.
It's just funny because I have spent enough social time in New York to know, like I'm picturing people in my head that are like
dead broke, having
just
a blast.
like, how are you living?
Yeah.
You know?
You just do it.
Like these artistic.
You just figure it out.
Like New York is full of like artists with no
hope
income from their art. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I still have friends that are in their 40s that live in Brooklyn and fucking
They have rich families?
Not the trendy part of Brooklyn,
right?
The shitty part of Brooklyn, and they're just grinding it out and having fun.
Right.
They're not rich, but I see them around New York sometimes, and I'm just like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, whatever.
Yeah. I just feel like that's not good either. Like, I mean, to them, I'm sure most of them are happy, and that's totally awesome. I think maybe one of my judgments, I'm being very judgy in the last 10 minutes, but like, is I think young people might be too impatient to have a good quality of life. And I think that you might gas out a little early and create a lower ceiling for your overall quality of life.
You're saying if you go to Atlanta too early.
Yeah.
When you could have just avoided Atlanta.
Or like, hey, do you want to have like you just said, you and your partner walk your dog, you get juice, you have room, you have room for the stuff, everything.
Yeah.
And you're 22. You're not, in my opinion, you're not supposed to have that at 22 unless your parents are rich. You're supposed to be grinding to hopefully have that when you're 30.
Yeah. In a different city.
Yeah. Not in Atlanta. Or you go to Atlanta, from at 30 from New York and live like a fucking king. But I don't know. Once again, I'm being so judgy. I don't give a shit what anyone does with their life. But for me, that was always that's just to me like the way life is supposed to work.
Yeah, you struggle.
Yeah, like you're supposed to struggle and figure it out in your 20s to hopefully.
I'll actually say it in a different way because I know a lot of younger people are opting for the smaller second tier, third tier cities.
Yeah.
I would say the better route is actually go do what seems impossible.
Yeah.
And the reason why, forget if you succeed or not, that's irrelevant. Life is just about stories.
Right.
I always joke with Josh, my co-founder in Ghost, everything's about content.
Yeah.
When we go on a trip, we go on a meeting, we go down the street, we do anything.
Yeah.
If you don't get good content out of it, it's a waste.
Yeah.
Because, when you talk to all these young people, they love to hear stories.
Yeah.
So think about yourself right now. You're 23, you're 25, you're 30 years old. If you don't have any stories, then you didn't live.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like you sort of rise to what you need to do.
You always figure it out.
Yeah. And so I would rather have a higher bar.
Yeah.
Because now I have to be more accountable. I have to figure it out.
Yeah.
As opposed to walking my dog around Atlanta with my partner at 22 so that I can make a TikTok about it, about how, the new rich. That's the big thing. I'm a big fan of having a good, well-balanced life, but I don't think you should go for it too early. I think you should.
I'm trying to think, do people who have partners have kids?
We got to get to the bottom of this whole fucking partner thing first. We don't even know what we're talking about. Bless you.
My partner gave me allergies.
Yeah, she did. She did. Not good partner activity.
My partner made me clean
A
the
true
house
partner
today.
would have been with you.
My partner gave me allergies.
True partner would have been in that shed with you. No, but
So
I don't know.
what's funny is I was just thinking about that while I was sneezing my face off.
What part?
You have kids.
Yeah, I do not, but yes.
Let's just say you have kids.
Yeah.
What are your kids called? The parents.
Associates.
Like the kids are like partner one,
Yeah.
partner two, because you can't say mom and dad.
Is it all business lingo though? Are
It's
they
all-
their managers?
So that's boss.
Maybe they're superiors.
Managing partner one,
And the
managing
limited
partner
partners,
two,
little baby.
co-founder. Actually, co-founder.
Yeah.
Technically, your parents are co-founders.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
When
Co-founders
you're at
and
school,
CEOs.
they're like, "Oh, what are you doing today?" Well, one of my co-founders said I have to be in bed by 7 p.m.
Yep. That'd actually work. That'd be perfect because they'd be like, what they found is me.
Yeah, me,
Co-founder and
motherfucker.
co-CEOs.
They fund me.
Yeah.
They feed me.
Or maybe there's a COO and a CEO.
Yeah, it's your
CFO.
grandma, grandpa,
Yeah, yeah.
uncles, aunts.
Yeah. Stupid. I hope.
The partner thing doesn't make sense once you have kids. You're fucked.
Someone explain it. I'm sure one of the Kathys is all in on this whole thing. I'm not one. I'm sure 1,000.
1,000 Kathys are part of this. And then when they have kids, they're like, no, I'm dad.
Yeah, exactly. I bet the Kathys, because there's probably a lot of Atlanta Kathys.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of like quality of life at 22 Kathys.
Yeah.
So I'm more than willing to get ripped to shreds, but can you just explain it to me? And also in this whole partner thing. Okay. Hey, they're doing a thing on TikTok to not spend anything for a month, not buy anything. What are they protesting?
So this goes back to
Partners?
no one has any money. Partners are broke.
Oh, so are they? But what's the stated agenda?
If you watch fashion trends,
Yeah.
fashion trends when people are broke go back to sustainability, minimalism, don't need a lot of things.
Right.
But 3 years ago, that same person had a Balenciaga hoodie.
Right. It's so funny how that works. And they were dating an athlete. Now they're minimalist and dating a finance bro.
If you're lucky enough to get a finance bro.
Yep. But are they stating, what is the reason that they're saying don't spend for a month?
It's just the trend that's happening because I believe they actually don't have any money.
I know, but what are they saying? Like,
Yes.
fuck corporate America?
No. It's more of just like
Like, this would be
save
cool.
money.
Oh. Right. It's funny how that works. Us humans have a really,
We could make it sound cool
Yeah.
to be broke.
but we don't even realize we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, we're just
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not into that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like vacations. You know, I was listening to this TED talk about how vacations are
So they're so bad for your
right.
vibes.
I do partner occasions now. It's at the local
we do
park.
offsites.
Yeah, we do. Now we do offsites. We do team building exercises.
We do offsites with our partners.
And our dog. And our fucking little dog.
I'm like, so where's your offsite? At my mom's house.
Yes. I bet you it is. Okay.
Fucking clown. It's just clown central 24/7.
Right. Because the problem is you can't admit, you can't say like, hey, times are tough.
Yeah.
This is what's going on. Instead, you have a trend of not spending.
Yeah. Someone
or
asked
you
me
get a finance
about,
bro.
oh, you're going to go? I'm like, why? Am I going to spend fucking 20 grand to leave my house? No, it's not worth it.
But you're right. A lot of people in that exact instance, are you going to go to this thing? No, I'm not going to spend 20 grand to leave my house. A lot of people will be like, oh, no, there's another reason.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying like, no, I
it's too
don't feel
expensive.
like spending that much money.
Yeah.
No, I haven't found a finance partner. I haven't found a chief investor, chief investment officer, right?
CIO.
Right. Still putting my board together. I'll let you know.
The board is like grandpa. Imagine if that's where life goes, where everyone's like a business
Yeah, you have
we push
shareholders.
LLC so much.
Yep.
It's like,
Like if grandma helps with rent, she's a
like-
shareholder.
so when you go meet your partner,
Yeah.
you have to present your financials.
You should have to do an earnings report
it's
every
a merger
quarter.
and acquisition.
Yep. Every quarter, you should have to do an earnings
And
call.
instead of getting a priest or whatever, you get a lawyer.
Yeah.
And he goes, in this merger,
Yep. An M&A
Sarah is bringing together $2 million.
deal. Yep.
George has 60 grand.
I think George is taking a minority.
George's taking a
interest.
minority stake in this partnership.
George is now Sarah's bitch. I think if you call the other person a partner, you should have to do a quarterly earnings call.
Yes.
And report on the state of
State of the Union.
Yes.
Yeah.
For all your shareholders.
Yeah. By the way, it should be public.
I agree. I want to listen in.
I would listen into random
All day.
partnerships all day.
If there was like on social media, if you were publicly a couple and you had a quarterly earnings call, there's
Like, how
20
good
of
be
them I'm
J-Lo and
listening to.
Ben Affleck's quarterly call?
Not going to be good.
We lost $63 million this
Yeah.
quarter.
Happiness is at an all-time low. Ben's drinking again, but we're working on that. We're hoping by Q3 we'll have a brighter outlook.
Oh my God.
Man. Okay, here's a quick list. Coffee and tea trends in every state. Obviously, what is this? Like what state prefers?
Toast. You know Toast, the POS system? Are you
Yeah.
familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
They put out an interesting trend. What do you think the average guest across the U.S. paid for a cup of coffee?
$5.
$3.08.
Not bad.
How about cold brew, which is basically, I'm not a coffee expert, but it's coffee cold.
Yeah, it's what we just said, but with ice.
How much do you think that is?
$4.
$5.14.
Well, we know where the scam is.
Yeah. Tea is more popular than regular coffee in 30 states.
30.
Yeah. In Chicago, servers and bartenders at full service restaurant earned a median hourly wage of $9.48, which is up from $9 in Q1 of 2022. Delaware was the most generous state overall for tipping. Average total tipping percentage of 22%.
Why don't you tip Elon Musk? Delaware.
Average price of a latte in Hawaii was the most expensive, $6.69.
There's some sort of coffee bean import issue there?
No, yeah, Hawaii, everything's just a price gouge. I think the tourism just like
That's not
when you go to a
bad.
hotel. As a person that stays in hotels, I will literally walk across the street to get water, coffee.
Right.
Like in the hotel, if I order coffee, shitty coffee, $10. Cross the street, $5.
Yeah. Here's my question. Are they upcharging cold brew because it's more popular? Like if you go to a coffee restaurant, is there a $3 cup of coffee and a $5 cold brew?
Yes, and I think it's perception.
Right.
The cold brew.
That's crazy. That's $2 ice.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just shocked that 30 out of the 50 like tea better.
Yeah.
That's these new partners. I think that's the new, like, I think coffee's out. I think a lot of things are changing. You got beef? You got an issue with my water jug here?
I mean, it's just too much.
What's wrong? So if you're listening, I
What?
carry around
What is that, 50 ounce?
64. 64 ounces of hydro flask.
Oh my God.
I've seen a topic here on the last 2 episodes that we didn't get to, that there's some sort of beef with my big ass water jug. And I'm just wondering what you have against healthy people.
You know, in 2023,
Mhm.
the reusable water bottle market, what would you think how big it is?
In the US.
No one's carrying a meathead jug in
500 million.
500 million? 10 billion.
10 billion.
Yes. What do you think the average person has who buys this? How many do you have?
How many of them?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a little. I mean, I let's say 2.
You have 2 in your whole house?
No, the real answer is I have 10, but but it's only because it's because I ordered a bunch off of Amazon to see which one was like the right.
But you have 10.
Yeah.
So you spent the money.
But I don't use 10. Use one.
My partners and my associates,
Right.
we have 30, 50 water bottles. Easy.
That's all Haley?
No, the kids each have 20, 15. Or my associates, sorry.
Right.
My associates.
How big are theirs? Like the little slender ones?
Yeah, they have tiny ones, and they have a fucking Chiefs one, and Dominic opened his first bank account across the street,
Yeah.
and Chase gave him
A water bottle?
a water bottle. So he only walks around in a Chase water bottle now because I don't know they give it to
That's how you know he's going to be rich.
him.
You know what I'm saying? That kid's focused.
Yeah, Indian.
Yeah. And so you're not happy about it?
What I think it's just,
Excessive?
it goes back to
10 billion. What else is a 10 billion? I know that's not that much, but like, I wouldn't think 10 billion. I shot low.
think about it, because like I would argue most of the country does not have a water bottle.
I think you're wrong. Like, I think
Do your
a lot.
parents?
Probably.
How many do you think they have?
Oh, God, I don't know. But I think that normally on
All
this
right,
show.
so they're going to hear this. Let's hear what they text.
Yeah.
How many?
5.
You think they're 5?
That's
I
my
just
guess.
don't understand why so many people have so many. I have
think
2. One you wash, one you use. Why do I have 50?
I think you just buy. I don't know, dude. I think you just see one at the checkout line at Target, and you're like, oh, that's cute. I think. Look, it's a positive. Hydrated. People are hydrated. One time on a podcast is a really.
But the genesis of the article is that the lady who's talking about this, her daughter who has 11 bottles,
Mhm.
is not hydrated. She doesn't drink them. It's more of a fashion accessory.
That's stupid. I just think a lot of times on this show, we talk about like, no, that's not happening in the middle of the country. That's happening here in New York, Miami. We're talking bubble talk. I think everybody, like I think in Ohio, at my childhood high school, those little fucking Stanleys are in every F-150.
They have a meathead jug.
But they have the little Stanleys.
But
I mean,
what has Mountain Dew in it?
yeah, probably. I'll tell you when I go to the office where we have a lot of young women that work, every person has one.
Yeah. I believe it. I see more women having water bottles than men.
I just wonder if like this is a random company. I think it's called,
What's it called?
Factor.
Well, Supplement, who we
Iron
shouted out on the pod, they sent us a water bottle, like a bunch of water. So we have one for you.
Okay.
And I think they're in my office, so I'll get them for you. But
I wonder if like this company Iron Flask, because they're very good at Amazon.
okay.
Their SEO is just good and they have a lot of colors and like, are they just printing money?
Like, I think my wife has bought Simple Modern.
Yeah. I have one of those.
They're like a 9-figure Amazon business.
Sometimes it can just be so easy, you know?
Yeah. Simple.
Like you're building these complex businesses and shit.
Yeah.
And like these fucking things. Because even the one that you're talking about, that's people, as obviously you know, but just putting their brand on, buying it in bulk from somewhere, putting their brand on it, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm saying like the company who's like Iron Flask, they have their little custom made, they're getting this in China somewhere. And they must just be printing money.
Printing. Because that's probably what, $40, $50?
Yeah. And next to no, I mean, what's the marketing? It's
Money.
SEO. I don't see fucking
We should
Kylie Jenner walking around with one of these.
start a water bottle for partners.
Yeah, we should. I think it should tell the other partner who's in the lead.
How much water they drink?
So you can be like, oh, hey partner, my app is telling me that I'm 2 ounces ahead of you. Don't forget to drink up. Okay. Last but not least, Temu. What's going on? I mean, we've talked a lot about Temu and Shein and those sort of things. Temu, their marketing has just been absolutely insane. They owned the Super Bowl.
Yep.
They're everywhere. Everyone knows of them. I mean, they I don't know if they do today, but for a long time they've had the top app in the App Store. It's just everywhere. That being said, apparently,
here's a stat. I'm gonna blow your mind.
give it to me.
86% of U.S. consumers trust Amazon.
Okay.
That's just insane. 6% said they trust Temu.
6. But it's still
The same group of people that do not trust Temu, 68% of them shop on Temu.
people
So
are so,
trust does not matter in real life.
I feel like if you're just in front of people's faces and you're cheap, you can get a lot of business.
Yeah, I think people don't realize that cheap and convenient is a feature that a lot of partnerships like.
Partnerships. Yeah, because, in Atlanta, no one's judging.
No.
No one's like, oh, you don't have, this app from Temu. It's Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's the Temu of New York. No, but I think it just blows my mind that like when you are starting a business, everything tells you that can never work. 6% trust you. That business is doomed and they're fucking
Doesn't matter.
crushing.
The other interesting takeaway, I've met with a lot of Chinese founders in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Kind of scary.
Why? Because they're smart. They're
No.
smarter than us.
They are very scared of a US-China war. And the people I met with are like
High up.
founders of Chinese companies in mainland China that do billions of dollars. And three different instances, all three said, they're like, what are you going to do about the war? And I go, oh, you mean in Ukraine? And they're like, no, the US-China war. I was like, what? What are you talking about? There's no war. He said, well, when it happens, what are you going to do? Like, nothing. No.
Bitch, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Tell me what you're going to do. So I know.
Let's make a plan together. Fuck.
Yeah, it was kind of sad. I was very bummed out about the negative nature of they think it's inevitable.
Because they just need Taiwan? I mean, that's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, I think it comes down to Taiwan and there's just the tensions where we're at.
But like, this is what I wonder. Can we really go to war with China? We're so codependent.
That's what I think.
Like, I feel like I've always felt like this was all a bluff or just shit talking. We are so incredibly codependent. How are you going to be at war with each other? How? Like, how? It doesn't even make sense.
What does Zohan say again?
Zohan says that China won't, and they're done anyway in
Self-implosion.
Yeah, because of population issues and economy issues, and that this is all a bluff, and a war would just make it worse for them.
Yeah.
But honestly, like I know we talk about our reliance on them for manufacturing and pharmaceuticals and all these different things, but they are more reliant on us. They can't cut all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't seem possible. But look, if people that are doing billions of dollars in business, I mean, they're pretty in the know. There's a different thing there in China than
he
here.
does 1 trillion RMB, which I think is like 300 billion of GMV in China.
I mean, you would think he'd have some conversations. Yeah. Right? Because there you're talking to the CCP at that level.
Gotta be.
Here you do 300 billion. You don't fucking know what the government's doing. You just hope they don't look at you.
Yeah, you have a good table at like,
right.
Super Bowl.
Right. Damn. The last thing did we talk about the Drake thing at all?
No, what Drake thing?
or the Kendrick thing.
No.
It's too, we're at the end of the episode. I feel like,
Not great for the Canadians.
Not great.
Team USA seems to win again here.
I mean, that was nuts. So, Kendrick did a show. Anand went. I was hoping he would be here, but Anand went to the show, but he did.
I watched it on Amazon.
Me too. It was, he brought all the LA hoods together.
Yeah.
But I was kind of thinking in my head, like, is he going to perform the diss records? Maybe he won't.
But he opened with one of them. And that's when I knew it was on.
But like when Anand was talking about going to the concert, right? And he actually invited me, but I couldn't go. And when I was trying to decide if I could go, in my head, I thought like, oh, maybe he'll just not address it. Yeah. It's kind of over. But man, the whole concert
was about it.
Yeah.
It was great.
And it's just, I've always been a fan of like the too big to fail bet on people like Drake. I don't think Drake is done. But man, he made a huge mistake.
I would say he has a big crushing blow in like core hip hop.
But dude, if you look at any like post, like even about like not his page, it is nothing. It's just like when it becomes popular to hate you.
Yes, that's my point. Is that I think here's the thing.
Like if you tonight play Drake at Poppy, I think people boo.
Boo?
I think they do.
Okay.
Tonight. I think it's cool to hate Drake right now.
I agree that it is, specifically in LA. Like, I think it's very hard not to hate him.
Right.
I think people in other countries have no idea what's going on.
That's fair. That's fair. It's definitely the most magnified in LA, but I think it's a US.
Yeah, I think it's in US.
It's just, man, this culture of the internet is brutal if you end up on the wrong side of it.
I agree with that.
If it becomes cool, because it incentivizes dogpiling. Yeah. Like anytime you see a post, like Complex posted something about Drake, and like everyone's goal is to get the hottest comment.
To shit on him.
Yeah, because comments get likes and you rise to the top. And so everyone's just shitting on him with like the funniest roasts. It's just, man, when the internet, I don't know, it's going to take something.
He may never reach the peak that he has. It might be done for him from that perspective.
He fucked up.
He fucked up. He went for it. That's the sport.
But there's one person that could have done that to him.
Yeah, but that's the game you play.
No, but he shouldn't have played it.
No, but then you're not. You can't be GOAT level if you don't play it. I think
Don't you think every GOAT knew? Like, don't you think in every GOAT's head there was like?
I relate more to sports, where in sports you go, you win, you lose, you win, you lose. Like, same thing with LeBron. In a lot of people's mind, LeBron is not the GOAT because he didn't win in certain levels of his career. So there's people who are going to obsessively love LeBron, even though he didn't win as much as he should have. Yep. But I think he went for it because what would he do? Just get dissed and not go?
But he disses everybody. He started it.
Yeah. But you cannot not play.
No.
He lost. He lost. But he has to go for it.
I think you got to know when to hold him and know when to fold him. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Kenny. Not an athlete, but
he knows.
Way beyond his years. All right. We got a shout out?
We got one shout out to my friend Paul Palacios. He shouted himself out. He said, to the biggest loser, definitely not a loser. Shout out. Happy birthday. Hope you're well, brother.
Why did he call himself a loser?
He was just joking.
Oh, Paul, don't do that. Come on.
Drake is the loser.
Come on, Drake's the loser, Paul. Just think about it. You could have had every LA gang on stage at the forum calling you a pedophile, Paul, but they weren't. They were doing that to Drake. Oh, man. Okay. That's it. That's all we got. Everyone have a great week. And if you're still listening, that means you're a real listener. And this is the moment where, because Dee and I have both seen how it goes, we want you to go ahead and hop into Anand's DMs and talk shit to him.
Yeah. You limited partner.
He's not a very good limited partner. He might get bought out here pretty soon. Might be a hostile takeover. All All right. Everyone have a great week. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.